Hello, YouTube. I'm on here to share when it comes to the Bible and comes to the Word of God. Everybody in this world try to come up with their own what they think about the Bible, what they think about the Bible. Nobody's going by what Jesus say. Everybody's trying to come up with what they think about the Word of God, but nobody wants to go by what Jesus says. When it comes to the Word of God, nobody want to go by what Jesus Christ says. Everybody want to try to come up with what they think about the Bible and not what Jesus thinks. Okay? So I'm going to share what happened when you do that. When people try to come up all across the world, people try to go by what they think. They think. What they think. Okay? Chasing religion. Religion ain't Jesus. Religion is not Christ. It's not Him. No, and a lot of people are chasing that. Religion is full of dead man's bones. It's not Jesus. It's not Christ at all. But today in our world, people try to come up with what they think about Jesus Christ, and they try to add their human wisdom to God's divine wisdom. And I'm finna share what happened when you do that. And we don't get into foolish and stupid arguments about the Bible because people try to come up with what they think. What they think. So, what does Jesus? What does Jesus say about man's wisdom? Man try to come up with his wisdom on what he think about the gospel, what he came up with. He not going by what Jesus say. He going by what the religious spirit say. He not going by what Christ say. So what does Jesus Christ say? He says that in Mark 7:13, you nullify. You Mark 7 Mark 7:13, you nullify the word of God for the sake of your tradition handed down. So when you try to add your human wisdom to Jesus Christ's divine wisdom, you nullify the word of God. You cancel it out. Religion cancels the word of God out. When you try to come up with what you think about the Bible and you try to put your interpretation on the Bible and you try to go by what you say, you cancel the word of God out. You make the word of God null and void. Trying to go by what you say. And you think you're smarter than Jesus Christ. You think you know more than Jesus, just like the Pharisees. So you try to go by what you say, and you want Jesus Christ to bow down to what you say. That ain't happening. A lot of people think they smarter than Jesus. You got a lot of religious stuff out there, but that ain't no Jesus. It says in Mark 7:13, thou thou make the word of God null and void for the sake of your tradition. Jesus hates religion. That's not him. He ain't got nothing to do with that. And we don't get into foolish and stupid arguments. 2 Timothy 23. But when you try to add what you think about the Bible and you try to come up with what you think, you cancel out the word of God. You make it null and void. Religion ain't no Jesus. Nope. But a lot of people think they smarter than Jesus and they over here chasing religion. Jesus Christ ain't there. He ain't got nothing to do with that. And we don't get into foolish and stupid arguments about the Bible. We don't do that. We don't do that. I'm just gonna go by what God say. But the word of God has been counseled out. See, you Mark 7:13, thou make the word of God null and void for the sake of your tradition. So many people want to try to put their interpretation on the Bible and come up with what they think. They don't want to go by what God say. And the religious spirit, that ain't got nothing to do with Jesus. He ain't in that. He can't stand no religion. He said it's full of dead men's bones. So when you looking at God through religious glasses, you never gonna see him. Nope, nope. That ain't what it's about. You try to come up with your own interpretation of what you think the Bible say. You cancel out the word of God for the sake of your tradition. Jesus hates religion. Religion is not Jesus. We don't get into foolish and stupid arguments. We don't do that. So that's what the Pharisees tried to do right here. They tried to come up with what they thought about the Bible, but you canceled out the word of God for the sake of your tradition. So it's not the word of God. I'm not getting into foolish and stupid arguments about the Bible. 2 Timothy 23. don't get into foolish and stupid arguments. We don't do that. I know that Jesus Christ came so we can have a relationship. All right, whatever you're doing, you just do whatever you're doing. I'm gonna continue to have a relationship with Christ. Okay, because I know He came so we can have a relationship with Him. Religion is full of dead man's bones. It can't do nothing for you. And we're not finna argue. We're not finna argue with the devil. We're not finna do that. 2 Timothy 23. We don't get into foolish and stupid arguments. But once again, when you try to come up with your human wisdom and you try to put your human wisdom with God's divine wisdom, you make the word of God null and void for the sake of your tradition. If you're chasing religion, you're not gonna find God there. He hates religion. Religion is full of dead man's bones. That ain't Jesus. But you're gonna believe whatever you want to believe. That's on you. I'm gonna continue to go by what God say. But man and woman's wisdom about the gospel of Jesus Christ, you make the word of God null and void. You cancel out the word of God when you start chasing religion and you try to come up with what you think about the Bible. You cancel that. Jesus don't care about what you think, and He don't care about what I think. What does the word of God say? Nobody want to do that. People want to try to come up with their own interpretation of the Bible and come up with their own stuff. When you do that, you cancel the word of God out because you're trying to come up with what you think about the Bible, what you think, and not what Jesus thinks. We got two different glasses on. I'm looking through what God say. You're going by what you say. I'm gonna go by what God say. So you cancel out the word of God for your tradition and what you're doing. Thou make the word of God null and void for the sake of your tradition you handed down. So you are counseling. You are counseling out the word of God. You are counseling out the word of God to hand down your own tradition. So you make the word of God null and void for the sake of your tradition. And that's what religion does. Religion cancels out the word of God. When you try to come up with your own definition of what you think the Bible say, you cancel out the word of God. You make the word of God null and void because you're trying to come up with what you say and what you think, and you want Jesus Christ to bow down to you. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. That ain't gonna happen. You're never going to get Jesus Christ to agree with what you saying. That's not gonna happen. That will never happen. No. You want Jesus Christ to, you can't do that. You can't do that. That can't happen. You cannot get the word of God, get Jesus Christ to say what you want Him to say. What I think ain't important. What do Jesus say? So you cancel out the word of God when you try to come up with your own definition of the Bible and you try to come up with what you think. It's a waste of time to go back and forth. You're never gonna you're never gonna get Jesus Christ to agree with what you say. That will never happen. And religion ain't Jesus no way. It cancel out the word of God. So since you cancel it out. You count it's saying so, and so you cancel out the word of God in order to hand down your own tradition. So I just pray for those people because they're trying to get Jesus to go by what they say. I'm gonna continue to go by what God say. I'm gonna go by what He say. Everybody ain't open to receive God's truth. They continue to keep chasing religion. Religion ain't no Jesus. Religion is full of dead man's bones. The Book of Mormon, Seventh Day Adventists, Latter Day Saints, all of this stuff is false. None of that stuff. All that's religion. That ain't no Jesus. That's counseling out the word of God. And religion loves to argue because the devil don't want to be wrong. Because that's what people are chasing. God did not send His Son into this world for no religion. He can't stand that. That's not what it's about. We looking through two different lenses. I'm gonna keep going by what God say. You keep going by what you made up. So you have a nice day. I'm gonna keep going by what God say. Peace out.